Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sid from SiD's Impressions. I thought I'll make a video on Bitcoin because there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of questions regarding that concept of Bitcoin, what it is and what it does and how it's made and how is it going to be useful, is it useful at all, and lots of questions looming and lingering around that. As a person who's actually followed the Bitcoin network and how it works and how it's being mined, how it's going to be useful, and hoping that this is going to be the future, I thought I'll make a video around it. So Bitcoin is basically a digital version of currency, How it basically differentiates itself is there's no physical asset tied to it. You don't have a physical note that can be issued for a Bitcoin. And as you can imagine, if you've been tracking the Bitcoin, the price of one Bitcoin is in the range of 3,900 to close to 4,000 right now. So it's not easy to buy a Bitcoin, but you can. The fortunate part is you can actually buy 1/100th or 1,000th of a Bitcoin today if you go onto platforms like Coinbase.com. I'll keep a link at the bottom of the screen. So how is it important? How is it different? With a physical dollar, when I give one particular dollar note, a bill, or $100 bill to someone else, it physically leaves my hand or my pocket and goes into someone else's pocket or hand. So that's a legitimate transaction. It's traceable because I don't have it now and the other person has it. I can't fake having given him or her the note, and they can't fake having received it or not received it, right? I mean, they can't fake having received it. But in the digital world, when it comes to photographs and videos and pictures and stuff, it's pretty easy to copy paste and make multiple duplicates of the same file or the same object and pass it around to people. So it's easy for us to be able to fake if you have the right brains and, well, the wrong brains, and you're able to dupe the system. You can actually say that you have $100, but you can actually fake the fact that you've actually given 100 people $100 each and still hold that $100 because you're giving them a duplicate copy of the $100 bill that you're holding, because there's no physical transaction happening there. In the Bitcoin network, it sort of has a difference in terms that everyone in the network, in the Bitcoin network, has a copy or sort of a small bit of information which legitimizes and which tracks this particular transaction that I made with someone else. So say for instance, I give you a $100 bill or a Bitcoin or 1/100th of a Bitcoin. That transaction having happened is recorded in every single computer that's connected, or every single node or individual account that's collectively connected on the Bitcoin network. And that's how the entire network sustains itself in terms of legitimacy. So if I were to say that, hey, I gave you 100 Bitcoins, whereas I've actually given you only 10 Bitcoins, every system in the network can actually say that, hey, no, Sid, you gave him only 10 Bitcoins and not 100. So the claim of the 90 will fall on its face, and the entire claim might be just invalidated. So that's how the Bitcoin network actually keeps track of every single transaction, and a ledger, a physical or a virtual ledger, is in place with every single node, every single computer, every single person who has an account with the Bitcoin network. And so it's not easy for you to fake a transaction, because you'd have to copy that fake transaction across every single computer or node of Bitcoin account, and that's practically impossible. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's practically impossible because there are millions of computers, millions of people whom you know and don't know across the globe who are mining, who are actually keeping track of this ledger. Each and every one of them has this ledger and has every single transaction's key or component, which is recorded in their ledger as well. So that's how the Bitcoin network basically reinforces itself. The more people that are there on the platform or on the Bitcoin network, the more the network becomes valuable and legitimizes its existence. How do extra Bitcoins get generated? So say for instance, 100 people are making these transactions. There are certain people, only certain computers or certain accounts that are sort of qualified to be able to validate those transactions. Now, in order to validate the transaction, these hundreds of millions of transactions that are happening on the Bitcoin network, you have to have a PC or a computer which is really top end and has extreme computing power, which can actually do mathematical calculations to solve certain high-end mathematical equations, and then get the opportunity to fight to legitimize certain transactions that have happened. And the more they legitimize or validate transactions that have happened across the Bitcoin network, they are given sort of a few Bitcoins that are released extra, which are sort of commissions that they have been given. And that's how additional Bitcoins are issued. It's not like a government issuing extra bills, printing extra bills and just throwing it out there in the market just because there's a need for extra money, which happens a lot across the globe. Not just in one country, happens across every single country probably. That's not possible in this particular network because it's peer generated, it's peer-to-peer generated, it's peer-to-peer legitimized. So that's the huge advantage that Bitcoin has, or digital cryptocurrencies have. Now, Bitcoin is one of the many cryptocurrencies available out there. There's Litecoin, there's Ethereum, and if you go to coinbase.com, you can actually open an account, you can buy a few of these digital currencies that have been there for a decent amount of time. This concept of Bitcoin is based on a different technology called blockchain, which basically is a chain of PCs or computers or nodes which keep track of everything behind it. Right, so every new block that's been added to the blockchain has or knows everything behind it, and there's no way to fake anything new that comes up. So yeah, in a sense, that's how the blockchain and the Bitcoin network works. I personally think that Bitcoin is the future. Blockchain is definitely the future for a lot of different things. It's going to disrupt not just the banking industry, but for me, the ultimate disruption would be for governments, where there's a decentralization of power, which used to be only governments and elected members of parliament or legislation who get the opportunity to decide certain things. The power will actually eventually get slowly passed on to the people. And for me, that's the ultimate win of technology, where people are now empowered with the opportunity to take decisions on their own behalf, and not just pass it on to a few people who have knowledge of what's happening around them and are taking decisions on our behalf and mostly tend to take the wrong decisions. So it's time we take back control. I hope you embrace the technology of blockchain and Bitcoin. Yeah, that's the only way we can welcome the future. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck in wherever we are, and our progress is going to be limited and slow. So welcome to the future. I would expect you to adopt Bitcoin. Even if you're not going to be spending thousands of dollars, spend a few $100s and experiment with Bitcoin. You would and buy it and just forget about it. Buy maybe a couple of Litecoins and a few Ethereums, maybe 100th or 1000th of a Bitcoin, and put it aside. Just forget about it. And over a few years from now, when it becomes mainstream and a lot of people have actually adopted it, you will definitely reap the benefits. So that's about it for Bitcoin and blockchain. I hope this helps, and look forward to making more videos for you. Thank you. If you like the channel, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Look forward to making more videos for you. Bye-bye. See ya.